Let's move on to module 5, the general analysis. Now, before we move in, dive deep into the analysis part, there's something I still need to explain to you, and that is the method of analysis. Okay, so it is not that clear cut on the analysis because I Ching is so flexible. There's a lot of, what Chinese call it as a Liu Bai Xing. Liu Bai Xing means that there are a lot of white and black area, whereby it can be black, it can be white, it can be gray. Okay, so this is I Ching, right? So in doing this Huang Ji Jing's analysis, it's the same thing. It's so flexible that when you see something that I don't see, that doesn't mean you are wrong. Okay, it's just that I don't get to see. Okay, and you may be correct in your analysis. That thing could happen. Okay, so this is one part here, the analysis part. So to help us with our analysis, these are the things that we use. Okay, these are the things that we use. I'm listing it down here, and I'm going to explain each one of them and where to find them. Okay, so first one is commentaries. Commentaries, you find the I Ching, if you go to library, go and borrow the I Zhuan. I Zhuan means I Ching. You find that for every hexagram, there will be commentaries. And there are a lot of commentaries. Some are called 卦词, some are called 彖词, some are called 象词, some are called 爻词. If you are garang enough, that means if you are detailed enough, you can read all those. Okay, if not, usually what I do is I just read the 卦词, and then sometimes the 象词. That's for me lah. This is what I do lah. Okay, and then next, you may also want to read symbolism. Now, what does it mean by symbolism? They mean the image. What does that hexagram looks like to you? So, for example, this year 2023, 烽火佳人. This is the symbol. This is the hexagram. 烽火佳人. On top is wind. Bottom is fire. Now, you need to use a bit of imagination. If below is fire, on top is wind, and the wind is blowing the fire, what can it mean in real life? Type in the chat box. Let's give it a try. Symbolism, the image. Below is fire. On top is wind, and this wind is blowing the fire. What can it mean in real life? Be flexible, be open. Anything goes. Be as crazy as you can. Type in the chat box. Never mind right or wrong. Doesn't matter one. This one, there's no such thing as called right or wrong only. You need to try it out. Give it your best guess. If there's wind and fire, this kind of combination, what do we get? Paul say wind flame the fire to bigger. Thank you. So we see a lot of fire outbreak, right? And this fire outbreak, once you break it off, it's like you cannot contain the fire because it's going to spread by the wind. Fiona say big fire with strong wind. Exactly. Pepe say just now my gossip and small people is for family hexagram. Oh, okay. Now I got it. Okay, very good. Okay, so you can see here, this is called symbolism. Can you see this here? A lot of fire incident, right? Hawaii, the Moa Island is spread, right? Italy also, same thing. There's a lot of fire outbreak. And it spread. Once there's a fire outbreak, it spread like anything. Now, we can also relate to human nature. Chinese call 山风点火. What does it mean? When you relate to human nature, 山风点火. Loosely translated, it can mean instigation. I don't want to do, but I want to chop people to do. Okay, so people will do the dirty work for me. I'm on the safe side. Instigation. Can you see what's happening around the world this year? A lot of instigation. Okay, so like Pepe say, gossip lah, small people lah, all these is the work of small people lah. So it can apply to nature. It can apply to human nature. So don't be restricted in your wild, crazy ideas, imagination. This is what I mean by symbolism. Okay. So next, hexagram name. Hexagram name basically means, every hexagram there is a name to it. So for example, this year 2023 is 烽火佳人, is a family hexagram. And just now I briefly described family, means like kakilang, tribes. If you are part of my family, I protect you. If you are not part of my family, you are my enemy. Something like that. So we take sides. Okay, so this is the family energy. This is on the negative side lah. On the positive side, we can see more marriages and things like that. Okay. So hexagram name. So next one is transiting dynamic. Now, why is transiting dynamic? Is because there's a higher level energy. Remember, there's a 10-year energy, there's a 60-year energy, there's a 360-year energy. So we call it the higher energy. Now, what we are more interested in is the next higher energy. Okay, so for yearly hexagram, right? The next higher energy is the 10-year hexagram, the Shin. Okay, the Shin, right? So we want to know if this 10-year hexagram were to translate into 烽火家人, what has changed? We call it the transiting one. So that means from the 10 years gram, what has transited to become 烽火家人? And we are interested to know what has transited. And basically what we are looking at are which line actually is changing. Okay, which line is actually changing. Next, there's another classic which I don't hear anybody talking about it, any master talking about this classic, but I find it very useful. It's called the 教士一零. Now, 教士一零 is written by some master, a master who has very good knowledge on this transiting dynamic. Okay, this transiting dynamic, and then written down into a poem. For every pair of transiting hexagram to hexagram, this writer, this author, wrote down a poem to explain the transiting dynamic energy. Later, I'll show you. All right. So you use this. Usually, I'll use all this, and then with a dash of creative, crazy imagination, and then some common sense to do the analysis. And this is what I want you to do as well. Don't be restricted in the way you think. Be as crazy as you can. Okay, and then if you have learned AOM from me, the art of maneuvering from me, you find that whatever you learn in AOM comes in very useful as well. Okay, last but not least, you need to do a bit of 推理. 推理 basically means inference, reasoning, and inference. Okay, for example, if let's say hexagram is about traveling, 旅卦, okay, 旅卦, traveling, then traveling, if you think about symbolism, it can mean people cannot stay at home and have to leave home and have to travel. It can also mean homeless. Okay, homeless, right? So they have to travel on the street, sleep on the street, homeless. Now, if let's say this is one crazy idea that you get from 旅卦, traveling 卦, then you have to do some inferring. Say, what events that take place can displace people to become homeless? You get my point? Okay, so what kind of event? It could be like, for example, natural disasters like a tsunami, or maybe man-made one, war or earthquake, things like that. All these major events can lead to homeless. So you find that, when there's a year of a 旅卦, traveling as a gram, then earthquake lah, natural disasters lah, tsunami lah, war lah, all these things could take place. So instead of telling people it is homeless energy, we say that, that's the energy of natural disasters. This is called 推理. You get my point? So you need a bit of this reasoning and inference. Not easy. Okay, not easy because we have been conditioned to look at what is showing up there. Traveling. I always talk about traveling. Okay, if you can do this 推理, eating is all about 推理, you'll be very good with your forecasting. This is what we did every 2 months, for the past 12 months this year. Okay, this year that we've been doing every 2 months for bi-monthly forecasting. Okay, next important notes. There's a difference between natural events and man-made events. Natural event means natural disasters like earthquake, tsunami, flooding, heavy rain, drought, or heat wave. All these are natural events. Now, when the energy shows up for natural events, usually it will take place. Usually. Okay. Now, man-made event like war, like quarrel, like military conflict, military operation. Okay. All these things are man-made, and therefore, even though there are energies pointing towards war, and because war is a man-made thing, it can be averted. Averted means if human have studied aging and have known that this year is a year of instigation. Now, being virtual by itself, by themselves, they will say, okay, this year, let me restrain myself from instigating. Then we would have avert a lot of unnecessary conflict out there. So man-made can be avoided, but there is a pushing influence by the year energy for people who have this, what do you call that, negative thoughts, this kind of thoughts to do it. Okay, but so just remember, natural energy tends to occur by itself. Man-made can be avoided. So what we do here, in this analysis part here, is that I've tried my best to dig back, as much as I can, major historical world events that's reported by credible sources, for example, Straits Time, CNA, CNN, all these so-called credible sources to support our analysis. Okay, now, not all events could be found, so only those I can find and can relate back to my analysis, I will put it up and show you all. Okay, but that doesn't mean that if I don't show you anything, that doesn't mean it never happened. It could be that I couldn't find it, or too long already I couldn't find it. Okay, but again, if I can find historical world event, usually they are crises, they were disasters, because those are newsworthy reports. Good things one, mounting one, nobody want to report one because it's not newsworthy enough. Okay, so you find that actually getting very negative as we go on with the analysis, because I've been showing you all the crises and the disasters. Okay, right, let's move on. Okay, so right now, if you can recall, we say we are in the 顶四. Okay, we are in the 顶四. We are in the 古巡 10 years. This is the 60 years. This is the 10 years. Okay, 10 years. And these are the individual 10 years under the ruling of this 古巡. And right now we are here, 家人卦. Okay, 家人卦. So this is just to show you where we are right now. Okay, 定位 first. 定位. And this whole table, it is the 60 year. Okay, the 60 year. This whole table is the 60 year of 顶四. Now, let's take a look at, to start off with, let's take a look at the higher level one first, which is the 60 year. Okay. Before we go down into the year, let's have a good look at, these 60 years, what is the overarching energy? So we have to look at the 顶四. Okay. So what I do, what I did, is I look at the 顶卦and I check it out, the commentaries, like for example, the 卦辞, 彖辞, 象辞, 爻辞, things like that. So the 卦辞 says like that, supreme success, establishing the new good fortune. Now you can Google. You can just Google, go to Google, type 顶卦. Okay, type 顶卦, and it shows you the 卦辞, 彖辞, 象辞, 爻辞, everything. Okay, nowadays very convenient. So to cut things short, the 卦辞 says supreme success, establishing the new good fortune. Okay, and then this 顶卦, hexagram 50 cauldron, basically what it means here, based on my understanding, is that 顶 is always used to lay the groundwork for something new. Have you heard of the 成语 called 革故鼎新? This 鼎 basically means 鼎卦. 革 is 革卦, 鼎 is 鼎卦, and they are always coming in a pair. 革故鼎新. So it means always lay the groundwork. I mean, when this energy shows up, it's always laying the groundwork for something new. So it could mean a bit of 推理, inference. It could mean some major revolutionary events could take place in this 60-year period. Okay, 60-year period. So 鼎 could mean a new world order after the Ge event. Right? So I put an image here. New world order. It means some revolution. Not revolution, world order. Now, if we dig back historical event, this is what I found. 60 years. So 鼎卦, when is it happening? 1984 to 2043. Okay, started from 1984. Huh? Now, can you see it? 1989, fall of Berlin Wall. That means reunification of West and East Germany. Is a big change, right? Big major change, right? Revolution, something new brought forward, right? And then Soviet Union in 1991 dissolved. No more Soviet Union. Now become individual states. Ukraine was one of them. Okay. Now Russia Federation was still there, the biggest one, the biggest state. Okay. And then in Africa, the end of apartheid, major change, very major change. This one. Okay. And then this part here, China resumed control of Hong Kong in 1997. So all this happened within these 60 years of 顶挂. So you can see here, the overarching energies in this 60 years block is all about revolution, changes. And with these changes comes chaos. Definitely, right? So to make everyone have a more visual understanding of what's happening, so I put it in a diagram form, an image form. So 1984 to 2043, which is the 60-year 鼎式, I use this image to represent the overarching energy, and I call it revolutionary change. 好，鼎卦革故鼎新。Now, feel free to give your thoughts. Okay, I may not be 100% correct in the way I present, because sometimes I may use the wrong choice of word. If you have a better one, let me know. Yeah. Okay, let's move in to talk about this, what call that? The first 10 years of 鼎式. Okay, 大有. Okay, 大有. So you can see here is this is a 60-year 鼎卦. This is the 10-year 大有卦. So this is called transiting. And how you transit is always a first line change for the first one. First line change. For second one is a second line change. Third one is third line change. Fourth is fourth line change. Fifth is fifth line change. And the last one is the top line change. Yeah? So this is what you call transiting. But for now, 大有卦. If we check the commentaries, you may Google and say 大有卦. The 卦辞 says supreme success. Now, the transiting dynamic is first line change. Okay, first line change. And it says here, when the cauldron is overturned, it is easier to remove anything bad. Now, that's why I talk about using inference, using crazy imaginations. Cauldron, you all know what's cauldron. In the past, in the army, when they go out to war, when they want to, after the war, the rest time, when they want to cook up a meal, they'll use cauldron. Okay. And they use cauldron to put in their meat, the water, and then cook it under fire. Cook. So at the end of it, they have to go and clean the cauldron, wash the cauldron, throw out everything from the cauldron, right? All the balanced food. So here, what it says here, when the cauldron is overturned, it's easier to remove anything bad. Use your craziest imagination. What can this verse tell us? What is it trying to tell us? For this 10-year period, we're going to have experienced this kind of energy. When the cauldron is overturned, it's easier to remove anything bad. Type in the chat box your craziest imagination. What could this verse mean? One quick one. One liner will do. Paul said overturn of dynasty. Very good. Very good. It could be dynasty. It could be a world order. It could be a very old arcade system, no longer serving them. So it has turned bad. So the easiest way is to overturn the cauldron and pour out everything. Means a change of hand. Okay, so very good. So this is what I call, imagination, but the craziest imagination that you can have. Doesn't matter right or wrong, because this is what eating is always like that. It's so flexible. Okay, so very good, Paul. Thanks for your input. Overturn of dynasty. So in these 10 years, we can expect, that's why I put there, a war image, anything that you want to overturn, especially those archaic dynasty or system, it involves some kind of harsh frictions, right? Harsh conflicts, right? So I put a war picture here. Okay, now where to find this transiting verse? How to know which line is changing? Now let me show you a link. This link is not by me. It is a public domain link. So I'm showing you this is the link. So let me skip. Let me share the screen, okay, and I'll explain to you how to use that website. Yeah, give me a moment. Okay, can you see here? Right? You find that give me a minute now. Okay, this is the website you can go to. You find here the top part here, the what I call that, the search bar. You find that it says here 周易pro.com 挂 50 to dash 14. Now you just change the 卦 number, the hexagram number. So in this case, it is 顶卦 50 is 顶卦，大有卦 is 14. So you just change the top part, the search bar, change from 50, 50 dash to 14, and then you enter. This is the page that you get. So you find that it's a 顶卦, okay, 顶卦 to 大有卦, and then you scroll down. This will show you the transiting dynamic. It's saying here 一爻动, and which 爻动 is 初六, okay, 初六. So it just take note of this, 初六, 顶子, what call that, the Chinese verse lah. Never mind. Okay, so this is the verse. I'm showing you this link so that easy for you to do reference. Yeah. Okay, let me go back to my slides. Give me a minute. Okay. Right. So are you all clear? Okay, so let's move on. This is how I got my transiting dynamic. Let's move on. Talk about symbolism. Now, 火天大有, this is the symbolism. Okay, this is a hexagram image. And on top is fire. On top is fire. Below is 乾卦. 乾卦 basically means 钱, money, metal, money. So if you put fire and money together, give me your craziest imagination. Type in the chat box. Give me your craziest imagination. Doesn't matter right, wrong. Just give me your craziest imagination. You put fire and money together. Basically, if you were to ask me about my craziest, Paul say fire melt metal. Okay, very good. So if you ask about my craziest imagination, I would say money get burned. And what does money get burned means in real world? Financial crisis. Could be financial crisis or could be market down and things like that. So bear this in mind, okay? Because there is a 火天大有 kind of symbolism image coming out, right? So again, I put a picture of a money being burned, right? Money being burned. Next, forest of change. Okay, so in this forest of change, just now I told you there was an author very good with this transiting dynamic, and for every pair of hexagram to hexagram, like for example 50 to 14, there's a poem written, and this is the poem. It says, "A lamb skin coat with calf of leopard skin, my house raised high. This is what the ruler loves. Now, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't make sense. Okay, because ancient Chinese people always like to put all the meaning into poems like this and leave it to you to go and double guess what it can mean. Huh? If you can guess, guess, good. If you cannot guess, then so be it lah. No choice lah, bo pian lah. Right? But after a while, once you have done this enough, you find that when it shows up again, you have historical data to back up to say that, oh, every time this verse show up, something happened. Okay, so you have this kind of historical data to back you up after a while, but you need a lot of data to back you up. Okay, so that's why it's good that you do this every now and then to improve your skills. Okay, so where to find this forest of change? This is the website. Okay, this is the website. Let me share that website and then we can talk again. So give me a minute. Huh? Okay, now because this is a Chinese text, right? I can only show you website that shows the Chinese text. I can't find the one with the English text. The English texts are roughly, loosely translated by me. Okay, and my Chinese to English translation is not that good too. So you need to discount what I wrote there with the English translation. Okay, but I can only show you the Chinese text now. So far, this is the original one. So what you do here, you can go, go to this website, and then on the left side there will be all the hexagram, Okay, and then you look for Ting Gua. Okay, once you click Ting Gua, the right side page will be refreshed. Will be refreshed. Then after that, you look for Da You. So the highlighted one, the one that I highlighted one is the 顶卦自大有, and this is the verse, the poem. Okay, so this is the website you go to look for the Forest of Chain poem. Okay, let me go back to my slides. Give me a second. Okay, so whatever that you can gather from all the methods of analysis, you gather. If it makes sense to you, you put it down. For example, for me, for this one, I put it down as a overturn. Okay, that's why I talk about the cauldron overturn, right? And then there could be a possible financial crisis in these 10 years. In these 10 years. Now, just bear in mind that the overarching energy is a revolutionary change. So most likely this could take place, right? Because it's under the influence of this revolutionary change. Now, because this is man-made, it could happen, it may not happen, depending on the human, are they exercising self-restraint or not. Okay, if they don't exercise self-restraint, they could give way to this influencing energy and then just do what the influencing energy tell them to do. I mean, 造反啊, revolution, coup, military coup, or so on and so forth. Okay, right? So let's take a look. We go into now, once you have an idea, the overarching 10 years, what could take place, overturning and financial crisis, then look at the year by year one. Okay, so in the essence of time, I may not go through every single year. Why? Because some of the year, I could not find any historical event to back me up. Now, I couldn't find, doesn't mean it didn't happen. I couldn't find, maybe because it's too old already. There's no record. Okay, so I couldn't find. Okay, so I only single out those critical year that is worth mentioning. Okay, now in the 1984 is a 顶卦. 1984 is a 顶卦. Now, how to read this chart? This slide here. On the left side is the commentaries regarding this 顶卦, 自大有. Okay, up to here. This is all on the left side. Now, 大有之顶, all the commentaries are on the right side. So regarding the year itself, is all on the right side. The higher level energy, all on the left side. Okay, so for now we are concerned about this 顶卦. So we look at on the right side here. So this is the 卦辞, this is the transiting dynamic, this is the forest of change. Now, the one that highlighted one is something that caught my eyes, caught my attention, and therefore I'm highlighting it now here also. Okay, so in the forest of change, two enemies are evenly matched, both suffer alike. Oh, so that means there could be an event whereby there's two enemy and they trying to kill each other and both suffer lah. That could be a major event like this. Okay, so in 1984 itself, so I dig back, and I found this 1984. Okay, in 1984, the energy is 顶卦之大有之顶. Now, India PM Indira Gandhi was shot dead. Shot dead by who? Shot dead by her own bodyguard, which was a Singh. A Singh. Okay, so in India, in Indian and Singh were always long-term enemy. Okay, and yet she got a Singh to be her bodyguard. So yeah, in 1984, she was assassinated by her bodyguard, and in the process, the bodyguard was also killed. Okay, by other bodyguards lah. So this is what the verse says here. Two enemies are evenly matched. Okay, both suffer alike. So both also suffer, both died. Okay, so this happened in 1984, and because of that, India undergone a revamp. Okay, a change of leadership, overturn. Remember that's how we talk about the cauldron overturn and throw out the bat. This is one event. Okay, overturn. See, it's always linked up to the higher energy. Always link up to the higher energy. When it's able to link up, that means the energy will come out even stronger. And someone who has a strong desire to do that, this will be the year to do that. Because there's an influencing energy already. Next, let's move on to 1986, which is a 巽卦. 巽卦is made up of wind over wind. Now, to me, okay, I'm sharing with you how I do the analysis, right? So to me, 巽卦from a symbolism point of view, it looks like a smoke, like this one, an explosion smoke. Okay, an explosion smoke, like mushroom like that, right? So you may read this on the right side. You may read, if it makes sense to you, it makes sense to you. If it doesn't make sense, you put it one corner first. So far, when there's no highlighted words, means that nothing caught my attention. But this image caught my attention of a double wind, like explosion smoke, explosion mushroom. That means something must have exploded, right? It could be a war or it could be something explosion. And because it's 巽卦, it's about wind, it's about air, something in the sky. Something in the sky. So this is how we do inferencing lah, 推理 yeah. So what happened in 1986? Could we find something? Yes, we could. Space shuttle in 1986, there was a space shuttle called Challenger. Disasters. Okay, it flew up and then exploded and killed all the crew there. Okay, so all 7 crew members died in the explosion. So this is a explosion. And any more? Also in 1986, in Chernobyl, Ukraine, there was a nuclear disaster. Nuclear explosion, nuclear disaster, Chernobyl plant. Also, what do you call that? Explosion smoke. Right? So all this happened in 1986. Let's move on. This is 1986. 1987 is a Jing, a well energy. Now you know well energy. Okay, well, right? I think common sense that you don't have to know the hexagram well enough to know that what a well is. A well is just empty hole with water below. Okay, and water is contained in that well, no leakage. Now, once you read on, you know that what well is, and you find that on the right side, there's a verse here: the jar is broken and leaks. Now, this jar could it mean this well? It could mean, and we know that water usually means 财. Okay, water means 财. And then on the forest of change here, there's a verse here. The young brightness loses its way. Become darkness lah. If the young brightness loses its way, it means on the flip side, darkness. Oh. So darkness means 很黑暗 oh. What could be so 黑暗 that, what kind of event could be very, very darkening one? Means 财漏. Okay, 财漏. And that's how we talk about financial crisis, right? So could it be this kind of timing that the financial crisis will show up? Because the 10-year overarching the higher energy, there is a sign of financial crisis, right? So in 1987, when I dig back, I found this. Stock plunge 508 points, a drop of 22.6%, blah, blah, blah. And in history right now, it was called the Black Monday, 1987. Okay, Black Monday. So it happened, financial crisis. So you see, 黄基金是 actually has a lot of information embedded in the hexagram already. It's for us to dig it out. Now, is it easy to dig it out? Some say yes, some say no. All right, we have been through the bi-monthly workshop for so many times already. You have seen me, we sit down together, we talk about the coming 60 days, what could happen. We did all this, right? We did all the craziest imagination, right? And say that this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And most of it, those things that we forecasted happen. Okay, so you can do it. You can do it. Just be crazy about things. Right, next. 1990, 送卦. Well, you look at this energy, you know lah. 送 means quarrel lah. Quarrel, conflict, dispute, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and if you look at the right side here, the highlighted one, say the tiger lies below the mountain. Alamak, still got tiger lies below the mountain means, of course, there will be higher chances or cases of, people quarreling, organization quarreling, or even countries quarreling. Okay, now quarreling, when it comes to country, the lighter part could be just quarrel, exchange of words. On the harsher part, it could mean war, right? It could mean war. So when I dig back into 1990, this is what I found. Gulf War. It lasted 2 years, 1990 to 1991. Gulf War. Okay, Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, invaded Kuwait, and then U.S. launches the Operation Desert Storm. Okay, and then push out Iraq out of Kuwait. See, it happened. So, let's recap. In this 10-year period, we noted that in this time period, there could be an overturn and there could be a financial crisis. And when we look at the year by year, and this is what we saw, overturn, right? India PM died, assassinated, explosion. Explosion is not part of here, but it's part of the individual year energy, right? The Chernobyl, and then 1987, the financial crisis, this one here, and then Gulf War. And because of this Gulf War, Saddam Hussein was overturned, right? A new ruler took over. Okay, so this is what happened. Okay, let's move on to the second. Any questions so far? Any question? Are you still good with me? Type a yes in the chat box if you are. So give me some feedback. Are you still good with me? Thank you, Fiona. The rest? Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Paul. Okay, good. As long as you're good with me, then I'll move on. So I'm showing you over, like you looking over my shoulder, see me how I do it. So you can do it on your own too. Just be as crazy as you can. Okay, the next 10-year period, which is the 履卦. 履卦 means the second line change. Okay, so 履卦 says here traveling. Okay, traveling. And then it says here you. Now, I always catch these kinds of keyword. right? Because it's very rare this kind of keyword shows up, and when it shows up, it tends to catch my attention. And then I'll use my craziest imagination to say, oh, in this 10 year, what could happen? No, something like that. Okay. And then no fish are caught. Something like that. So no fish are caught means nothing to eat lah. Nothing to eat means economy no good lah. So economy no good, does it mean that some financial crisis again? So this is called 推理. Okay, ill could it means pandemic, epidemic, whatever ill. And traveling does not talk about traveling like right? Traveling can mean homelessness, right? On the negative part of it, it could mean homelessness. That means if something were to have to take place to displace a lot of people into homelessness, then we have to look at those things that could cause homelessness. It could be natural disaster, it could be war, it could be blah, 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 blah. So I put there as homelessness first, and then something to do with traveling. Okay, traveling, yeah. So could it be a traveling industry boom, or could it be a traveling industry restriction? We don't know. But it's traveling energy shows up, so it may have something to do with traveling. Okay, so in short, for the next 10 year, the second 10 year, these are the things that, if you would ask me, I would say it could be homelessness kind of energy, travel disasters, viruses, maybe epidemic, pandemic, not sure, and possible financial disaster again, not sure. Okay, let's take a look. So we drill into the year by year. Now, I won't be talking the every single year. I will just highlight those years that is of concern. 1997. Can you recall what happened in 1997? Anybody can recall? 1997, anything happened? Or nothing happened? As usual. Anybody can recall anything? Now, when we look at the Tun Gua, now Tian San Tun, the on top here could mean money, Qian Gua could mean money. The bottom here is mountain, okay, or hand, Hand, hand pushing up the money, pushing out the money. Okay, so Fiona said Asian financial crisis. Oh yes, Asian financial crisis. So you see here, Tian San Tun is hand pushing out the money. Again, it could be pushing out, financial crisis again this year. I think we already confirmed. Fiona says Asian financial crisis. And then you look at the right side here, it says Prince Peng Seng is becoming an apparition. Apparition means something bad lah, or become evil, something bad lah. Okay, so it's talking about Prince and not any other Tom, Dick, Harry, but Prince. Okay, so take note, something about Prince. And then the violent dragon causes disaster. Violence dragon. And then there's something about money. Okay, so we look at it. 1997, what happened? Okay, a handover of Hong Kong, 1997. Change of hand. Okay, and then it also in 1997, the death of Princess Diana. Now, because of her death, now people are suspecting, okay, that who caused the death is this guy, her husband, and husband was Prince Charles at that time. So remember that's how we talk about Prince, what Peng Seng, has become apparition. Yeah. So in this year, this prince, was rumored to be the one that has ordered the killing of Princess Diana. Okay, and that's why he was interviewed by the police over the plot to kill Diana. So you see the energy shows up. So Ian is asking how to reconcile the terms like success, auspicious versus the negative events, how to read such term, or we just ignore. Now, I share with you my take. Very good question, Ian. I share with you my take because I have the same questions too. Why is it that I have to ignore, mostly ignore the word success, blah, blah, blah. It's like that. If there's positive, there's always negative. So it's always two sides of the same coin. Now, the thing is, talking about news articles, they don't usually report those success stories. Don't usually. They like to report those negative stories because they are more newsworthy. So you find that you can't find events to support, but it may happen. There could be some happening somewhere in the remote areas of success stories, but it was not reported. That's number one. That is my take. Number one. Number two, like I say, man-made events. Okay, man-made events. Usually people are more tempted towards having faster result, instant gratification, and then doing things that the so-called the bad things. More tempted to do the bad things than the good things. That is why when the bad verses, the poems, the phrases all about the bad things one shows up, most humans are more tempted to do that one than to do the positive part one. They tend to procrastinate to do the positive part. Okay, so these are my two biggest takeaway as I've done so many rounds of forecasting in the past years. This is my take. Now, don't believe a thing I say, Yen, and same for the rest. Do the same thing for yourself. You can do the same forecasting for yourself, and then you ask yourself this question: why is it that the success, the positive part one, we tend to ignore? Because of these two things. Number one, it's seldom reported. It may happen, seldom reported. And number two, human beings are more inclined to do the negative things. Is that okay, Yen? It's okay if you don't agree with me, yeah? Okay, and feel free to type in your inputs as well. Yen said, I just find it hard to utilize the negative data to build knowledge base to analyze, predict good event. Yes, but I'll put it this way. If let's say the bad events, right, not necessarily it will happen. Not necessarily those bad events may happen because man-made event can be avoided. And if can be avoided, I would say those are good. Okay. All right. Any more things in 1997? Yes, like what Fiona said, Asian financial crisis happened in 1997 and dragged into 1998. Next, 1999 is a 履卦. So you see here there's a double 履之履. I call it double confirm lah. Okay, 履之履. That means if there's any homelessness that's going to take place, then in this 1999, that could be a year with there will be a lot of natural disasters or man-made events, major man-made events that cause a lot of people to be displaced from their homes. Okay, and you see this verse here, the birds have nowhere to fly. That means have to be stay out in the streets. Okay, and extreme exhaustion and no food. So 1999 could be a year to watch out for, for major events or major man-made events. And when I dig back, this is what I found. 1999 itself, Izmir earthquake in Turkey, okay, leaving a significant number of people homeless. Also in 1999, Taiwan earthquake led to displacement of many residents. Also in 1999, Hurricane Floyd in the United States, displacing many individuals and families. 1999 also, Cyclone 05B, okay, estimated over 1 million people were left homeless in the aftermath. Right? Any more? I think there's some more. 1999, last one, Venezuela flash flood and landslides. Okay, many homes were washed away and thousands of people were forced to leave their home, leading to homelessness. All this happened in 1999. Okay, every other month you see, natural disaster like this. Okay, so like just now earlier on, I said before I start this module, I say that as I go on, you find that I tend to report a lot of negative news. It's because these are more newsworthy to be reported. Next, 2001, 风山剑. Now, 风山剑, my craziest the imagination is of this, 风山剑. Now, 风 is wind. On top, it could mean aeroplane. Okay, aeroplane. And this genggua below can mean a building. Right? It means a building like this. Okay, so it's like an aeroplane crashing into a tall building in 2001. Right? So in 2001, if you dig back history, the 9/11 incident, right? It crashed into the World Trade Center in US. Okay, again, negative news. 2003. 2003, the energy is a Gengguа. Genggua basically means to stop. This stop. Okay, stop means, could it means that the world come to a standstill? May or may not. Okay, but come to a standstill, yeah? So there's a verse here to say that going into the courtyard, not seeing anyone. Now it means that you go somewhere, you find that nobody one, empty one. So that what does it mean? Like COVID like that, you go out in the street, you don't see anyone. So could it mean that this 2003 could be a year where there could be some pandemic or epidemic going on, that there is some lockdown or whatever? I don't know. Okay. So when I dig back history, yes, in 2003 SARS outbreak. Okay, SARS outbreak, but it was not as bad as COVID, right? There's actually no lockdown, but at least people are staying home or wear mask, staying home, social distancing and things like that. Okay, so this is in 2003. So in short, if we sum up the second 10-year period, we say that this second 10-year period, there could be energy of homelessness, travel disasters, virus, financial disasters, and indeed, in the year-to-year one, we see Asian financial crisis happen again, Princess Diana death, natural disasters here and there, and the 9/11 disasters, and last but not least, SARS, the virus. So somehow it ties the 10-year period and the year period, it ties in the energy. Question so far? So how do we make use of this information? You have this information is okay, good, but how do we make use of this information that you have that others don't? So this is key. So if we find that there is some financial crisis, right? So you have to be very, very extremely prudent, right? When you deal with investment and things like that, okay? That you are just playing with money that you can afford to lose if things goes really southward, things like that. And when there are cases of natural disasters, then you may be careful on planning your next overseas trip. Where is more hurricane prone and things like that. Be careful. Any questions so far? Okay, so let's move on. The third 10-year period. Now look here, 10-year period. There is suddenly a verse called wags its tail. Okay, the little fox has nearly crossed and wags its tail. Nothing is appropriate. It's like the fox is trying to cross the river, and then cross halfway. The tail got wet. That means overwhelmed by the height of the water. So wags his tail, maybe drowning or inundation, things like that. So I put an image of inundation, heavy flood, inundation. And then next, the bollworm is a thief. Worm, there's a bollworm, it's a worm. Could it be a virus? And it's a thief. Okay, and then next, there's a no profit to be had. So again, it points, could there be another round of pandemic, or could there be another round of financial crisis? Well, I mean, this is just a telltale sign. So, we just have to take it and then be careful along the way for these 10 years. So I put these three images here as a theme for the 10-year period between 2004 to 2013. Now, if we go into the year by year one, we talk about 2004. Now, 2004 is a 牵挂, 第三千. Okay, 第三千. On top is Earth energy, below is Earth energy. And this 第三千, there is an 暗冲. Okay, 暗冲. It means that Earth and Earth energy is fighting each other, clashing each other. So what it means here is could be that this year there could be more incidences of earthquake or tsunami, because tsunami is also a form of earthquake, but it's underwater. Okay, so in 2004, there could be higher incidences of earthquake, whether it's on the ground or underwater. Okay, next, if you look on the right side, 位置之前, just look at the highlighted one. engage in invasion and attack. Alamak. So straight away, there could be cases of conflict, right? Military conflict. And then look at the bottom one, all day, all night battle rages. So there could be cases of military operations or military conflicts, or in short, called war. Now let's look at history for 2004. 2004 was a very bad year. There's an Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, right? And over 230 people were killed. Okay, I think this is the Phuket one, the Phuket one, the tsunami. And then whether there's any military conflict in that year, have, right? Have. Iraq war in Afghanistan, Sudanese conflict, Chechen insurgency, Haitian rebellion, Afghan civil war, and Darfur conflict. All this. Okay, some are very remote places. Some names we also don't know who are they, where are they. But these are the conflicts I found from the internet, from the credible sources. So that year was also pretty turbulent. 2005. 2005 is a 皮卦. Now 皮卦天地皮. 天地皮 in short basically means 主赛不通 a choke pipe like that 主赛不通, right? And then if you look at this right side here, it says ghosts and demon overrun the land. It's ghosts and demon is you can't see them, but they are there. So it's like an unseen energy, but it's overrunning the land. Overrunning the land. So my wildest imagination is I cannot just pinpoint on ghosts and demons, right? So if it's unseen energy, it could be energy like a strong wind, like a tornado, hurricane, and things like that. Okay, so 2005 could be the year where there's a lot of these natural disasters. Hurricane, torpedo, wind, not torpedo, tornado, things like that. So let's dig back. And I found in 2005, you have this Katrina hurricane in US. And then, that was it. Katrina hurricane in 2005. The greatest natural disaster in US history. So in 2008, okay, 2008, on the right side, wetting one's head, even with honesty, one will lose touch with what is the case. All right. And then the prince received the benefit, a bounty shared with relative and friends. Now, basically, it means here, if you read these two together, you say there are money to be earned. Okay, there are money to be earned, right? And then here say wetting one's head, even with honesty, one will lose touch with what is the case. So that means if let's say, if you put these two verses together, it can means, if let's say you experience goodness, don't be complacent. Otherwise, you will lose more. This is my greatest wildest imagination where I put these two verses together. Okay, and try to make sense out of it. It means don't be complacent or you lose more. That's one on one hand. On the other hand, 雷地狱. Let me clear the ink first. 雷地狱 is actually, earth trembling, earthquake. In short, is the image of an earthquake. Right? So this year, 2008 could be a year of more earthquake going on. And at the same time, this is a reminder for all of us that if let's say you earn enough from maybe investment or from the financial market, don't be complacent. Know when to pull back. This is just a reminder. Okay. So when I dig back history, 2008, indeed, there was a Sichuan earthquake, a very huge, devastating earthquake in China's Sichuan, leaving over 87,000 people dead or missing, and millions more displaced, homelessness. Now in 2008, Lehman Brothers. Okay, Lehman Brothers. What happened? Subprime crisis. Right? So people thinking that, it's so easy to take loan, right, for their property. So easy, because that's now there's a verse saying that a bounty share with relative and friends, right? So it becomes so easy that anyone can go and take loan. And then suddenly default, okay, and come the Lehman Brothers crisis. And that leads to the global financial crisis. And this crisis led to a lot of rich people decided to jump down. Okay, very unfortunate. Right, so it happened. 2009, okay, 2009. This part here, the Jue wine vessel and Lei water basin washout, there is a verse talking about washing. Okay, washing. So therefore, it could mean this kind of washing, right? That means cleanliness, hygiene. So in 2009, anything happened. One more thing. Here got wet its tail. Just now we talk about wet its tail, right? And we say wet its tail basically can means inundation, right? I mean big flood lah, heavy flood lah, flood the whole area and things like that. So this verse show up again. So this 2009 could be a year of very wet weather. So I dig back history and found that 2009, there's a typhoon Morakot in Taiwan. Very serious kind of typhoon and caused massive flooding and landslide in Taiwan, leading to significant casualties and economic losses. Also in 2009, H1N1 influenza pandemic. Not as serious as SARS. I think this is the mildest so far between SARS, COVID, and H1N1. I think this is the mildest one. Okay, next, 2011. 2011 三地波. That's how we talk about 地三千, right? Now, 三地波 is just the opposite of 地三千. It is again Earth clashing with Earth. So this year, 2011, we can also expect more incidences of serious earthquake or tsunami. Okay, and then there's also phrases of mounting an attack and then dying trap. So it could be that the earthquake caused a lot of dying trap, or it could be because of mounting an attack that caused a lot of dying trap. It could mean either way. 2011. So in 2011, the what do you call that? Earthquake in Japan. Earthquake and tsunami in Japan. Okay. So this is what happened to the nuclear crisis at the Fukushima nuclear power plant in 2011. And whether there's any military conflict, there were Syrian civil war and Libyan civil war, right? So to wrap up this 2004 to 2013 10-year period, we say that there is inundation, the Japan, the tsunami, and virus H1N1, financial crisis, which is the Lehman Brothers one. Okay, so it sums up everything lah. Pepe say can show the wall slide in black background. This one, right? Okay, thank you.